So today I want to talk about the Big Ten. Sir Yacht. President expects football. Oh, it's coming up after the bumper.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You gotta help me with that corner shit.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always college football related, sports related. We have a good time. Today, I want to talk about the Big Ten, the president, and this dude, Sir Yacht, that y'all keep dropping about in the comments. So I went to go do a little bit of research on my man, and I got things to say about his college football takes. But let's start with President Donald Trump dropped a tweet today. It says, and I quote, 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, Big Ten football is looking really good, but may lose Michigan, Illinois, and Maryland because of those governors' ridiculous lack of interest or political support. They will play without them? Question mark. To which the answer is most likely no. Michigan State, yeah, you need them to play in the Big Ten. Maryland, not so much, but that's a different conversation. And then Illinois, not so much, but you do want to have all 14 of your members playing football if you're going to play football. Otherwise, you don't have a Big Ten conference. You got a bunch of rogue college football programs that have chosen to play football. Now, as much as I know that Ohio State fans in particular would love that, and Nebraska fans for that matter, and you know what? Let's just throw Iowa in there because we know that their university presidents voted to play football this fall. It just probably is not going to happen. And it's also this Sir Yacht dude that's doubling down, talking about October 10th is when they're going to start playing football in the Big Ten. Now, I went and I did a little bit of research on your man Sir Yacht. And his claims have been so far, the Big Ten will start play on October 10th. Michigan has ousted President Mark Schlissel. Hasn't happened. Nebraska will rejoin the Big 12. Hasn't happened, is not likely to happen. Ohio State will join the ACC or become an independent. Gene Smith said we're Big Ten members and we're going to go along with what the Big Ten asks us to do. And the ACC? You kidding? At this point, this dude is just throwing stuff against the wall, and his Twitter following would lead you to believe that people are really wanting to eat this up. Now, I get that you want stuff to be true. And I also get that you want the most powerful person in the United States to tell you the truth, but those things have not necessarily been true. Now, it's also wildly optimistic to believe that the Big Ten is going to play football beginning October 10th, precisely because of how long it would take to ramp up such an effort, but also because the university presidents have already decided on this, and if they held a revote, they have not actually told us what the count is. And it's in Kevin Warren's best interest to try to make sure that he understands where those university presidents happen to be at all times. Now, I did a segment yesterday about the University of Nebraska. Ronnie Green, the chancellor from Lincoln, Nebraska, sending out an email July 30th to Kevin Warren saying, among other things, yo, man, I didn't like the way that our conference call went, and I really want to have a plan in place that allows for us to play football because we could lose $80 to $120 million if we don't play football in the fall. To which Warren said, I got you. To which Ronnie Green's boss went at Kevin Warren and said, yo, do you need to talk about this? I understand you're under a lot of pressure. I would love to be able to lend my expertise. To which Kevin Warren said, I got it. They release their conference schedule, and then August 11th, they decide no football. They and the Pac-12. Then we got Larry Scott on College Game Day talking about we might be able to play football around Thanksgiving because we have tests that are available to us right now that we did not expect to be available to us until November. That is a big deal, but it's also not enough for them to start playing football in October. And seeing as the Big Ten does not have such a plan in place or such testing in place, that would be hard for them to do as well. And the further along we get into the college football season, which began yesterday on Saturday with 6 games on the schedule, for which you could check out the instant reaction video that I did for those, the less likely we are going to see the Big Ten play football in the fall. The less likely we're going to see the Pac-12 play football in the fall. And I'm fairly confident now that neither one of those things is going to happen. But the way that people are willing this, the way that they are just pushing for it, is also just roundly messing up the timeline, right? Because we're dealing with an unprecedented set of circumstances in an election year with a president that wants to carry Ohio, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, among others, right? You're also dealing with the politics of it. And as much as folks are going, I don't want to see politics in my sport, it's in your sport, man. At this point, it's in every sport you like. It is coming to the NFL come September 10th when we start the season there, because the NFL has already put in lots of directives that are going to recognize Black Lives Matter. There are a lot of people that claim to be sports fans that are going to be boycotting their sports if they are keeping with their word, but I think that y'all want to see football. Like, if you're going to watch Arkansas State play, you're going to watch anybody play. It's not a dig at Arkansas State. It's just to say that there are only 76 FBS programs playing football of the 129 that there are. There are only 15 of the 127 FCS programs that are choosing to play football. And so far, we haven't seen a Power 5 team play. Imagine how good that's going to be on Saturday when we do get to see Power 5 teams play, with Clemson traveling to Winston-Salem to play Wake Forest, where College Game Day is going to be. We're going to continue to talk about all of this stuff because we have to, right? Because the Big Ten is one of the most remarkable storylines that I have been a part of the telling. And I'm wildly interested in what's going on with it, because we had Jim Harbaugh out marching with parents outside the Big House saying that he wants to play football, threw his president underneath the bus, right? And has tried to say that Ward Manuel is taking care of all of the conversation that takes place around whether or not Michigan plays football in the fall. But I got news for you. If the head coach of the Michigan Wolverines is marching around the Big House on September 5th, what makes you think that he's going to be playing football on October 10th? This is not a matter of opinion. This is a matter of logistics and the ship that has to be set to sail in time for such a thing to happen. And now we're talking about having a Big Ten that does not include the Maryland Terrapins, the Fighting Illini, the Spartans, or the Wolverines. Ohio State wants to play Michigan. Now, I understand there's lots of Ohio State fans that can't stand Michigan and all of that. But Ohio State wants to play Michigan in the same way that OU wants to play Texas, in the same way that Alabama wants to play Auburn, in the same way that Florida State wants to play Florida, and they don't get to this year. Whatever it takes to get some sort of football, I understand a lot of people are going to do, even if it's not necessarily wise to do. And trying to fracture the Big Ten is only going to weaken the Big Ten. It might make you feel good in the short term, but the reason that the Big Ten is one of the most powerful and the most profitable conference in all of football is precisely because they have been able to form 14 members that have solidified their strength together as being more important than their strength apart. It also legitimizes Ohio State in a way in which all of you want Ohio State legitimized, in a way that say Notre Dame was not. And that's why we're all interested to see how them being a part of the ACC as a full member is going to go, because playing an ACC schedule, they might end up being what Clemson is. They might not. But it also removes all conversation about whether or not Notre Dame deserved to be in the playoff like we were having in 2018 when they didn't, and they got beat 30-3 after almost losing to a 5-7 USC team to close out their regular season that year, even though they had a Paycom Jim Thorpe Award finalist at corner and Ian Book was ascending. All this stuff to say, it's not just to make you mad. I'm not trying to do that. I am trying to inform you about the conversation that is going on, and trust the people that you trust, right? Trust Pete Thamel, trust Pat Forty, trust Bruce Feldman. There's lots of great college football journalists that you can trust. Nicole Auerbach. I mean, I keep going here. But trusting a dude whose Twitter account is basically just throwing stuff against the wall is probably not the way to go. All right, that's it for me. Deuces.